Welcome to the Gaming at a Glance podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Gaming at a Glance podcast episode. I am the host, Caleb, and joined with a good friend of mine,
John Goins.
Johnny Boy.
What up?
The master of Holler at Your Boy.
Absolutely.
John, you've been on a podcast before, but it was quite a while ago. It was a long time ago.
Final Fantasy podcast.
Which was like episode 7, and this is going to be episode 54.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
that puts it into perspective.
But welcome back. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
All right.
What's going on?
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. John has been playing a game that I have not heard of, or have heard of, but have not looked into at all. John, what game is that?
That is Nier Automata.
Nier Automata.
Or Nier Automata, as some people pronounce it.
It's like people pronouncing Ratata and Ratatata, or Ratata. That's what Ryan always calls it.
I say Automata. That's what I prefer, but I'm sure that's wrong.
I'm sure it doesn't really. It's people saying faux and pho. He's like, where's the line here? John, what is Nier Automata?
Nier Automata is it's like a post-apocalyptic scenario where all the humans are supposedly on the moon, and some aliens have come to Earth, and they've tried to destroy the Earth, and they've created these machines to destroy the Earth, and the humans have created androids to fight the machines.
Hey guys, Caleb here, just to take a quick break to say that there are spoilers coming up right after this, so take just a second if you don't want to hear spoilers of Nier Automata, and skip ahead a few minutes and we'll get back into it. But yeah, there are spoilers coming up.
But what you don't know is that all the humans are actually dead. They're not alive. So
spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the aliens have put these machines to fight, and the humans have created these androids, and their creators are dead. The aliens are dead and the humans. So these machines are just fighting senselessly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I basically just gave everything
the whole game
away.
That's fine, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to play it. Now
don't go buy it, guys. I told you everything.
We already know.
But no, the gameplay is awesome. It's kind of a hack and slasher, which, I mean, I don't know how some people feel about that, but I love hack and slashes.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good classic hack and slashers out there. I mean, Devil May Cry, God of War, Darksiders, Dante's Inferno. I mean, there's so many hack and slashes, but those are ones that never really get old. You can always go back and pick up a hack and slash, like Heavenly Sword. That's an old one that you got really into. But that's awesome. From what I've seen of like the cover of the game and a little bit of the gameplay, it looks very like Japanese anime.
Definitely lots of panty shots, lots of very things that anime is quite well known for.
Tig old bitties.
Yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, it is a hack and slash, which I mean kind of has this like mindless quality to it, but honestly that's the quality that I kind of like. And then it also has this like RPG side to it. You can level up, you can level up you have like this little pod that shoots machine guns, and you can level that up. You have like a ton of items to collect. That's what I'm in the middle of right now.
So a little bit of RPG-ish with experience points. So kind of like an action adventure style game, which seems cool. Now, John, you're an artist.
That is correct.
How do you feel about the art style and graphic quality of the game?
Honestly, that's what drew me to it.
It seems to be a lot of grayscale, black and white, which is really cool.
Lots of neutral colors, which is kind of weird at first, but as you play it more, it like, at least for me, it grew on me. Like the color scheme that it had. And of course, the character designs were like really cool with like they have blindfolds and all these suits and stuff.
Typical crazy anime accessories that you're not going to find anywhere else, because you're an old school anime fan as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this game sounds like it's right up your alley. John and I, John's older than I am, but he's best friends with my brother back in the day. And they would always gather around and play like head-to-head Gundam Wing Fighters and Street Fighter games and all sorts of crazy anime stuff. And the best head-to-head fighter, in my opinion, being Dragon Ball Z Budokai, was one that we just laid into.
I would say Marvel vs. Capcom. That's one that I'm. That's like my childhood right there.
The Marvel vs. Capcom, also fantastic.
It's a good one.
I was thinking more, my mind being geared more to anime, because you got the Naruto head-to-head fighters, the Bleach head-to-head fighters, the One Piece head-to-head fighters, always going back to Dragon Ball Z. Marvel vs. Capcom, which they just dropped a new one.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten to try that out yet, but I'm terrible at head-to-head fighters.
I want to say that I'm good at them, but I'm sure there's like plenty of people out there that could destroy me. But I want to be good at them because I love them.
Right. It's like how I was with Injustice when Injustice first came out. They gave it out for free on PlayStation 4. I just got my PlayStation 4, so I was like, oh, sweet, free games. And I got in there and I started playing, and I went through the story mode. I went through it again on hard, and I won. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm pretty good at this game. Let me hop online and see how I do. Never do that. Don't ever do that. I got in there, and I thought Batman was like the weakest character in the entire game. And as soon as I got in there, my first match was with Batman, and he kept me in the air the whole time and just drained my health bars. And I was like, nonstop combos.
Generally, when somebody's really good, that's what they're master of. Like, when you can master the combos, that's when you can just destroy people. And that's the hardest part of it.
Right, but that's the whole core of the game is mastering the combos. Whenever we were at E3 in 2016, I was in line for Kingdom Hearts, and the two guys that were behind me were both like professional Mortal Kombat players.
That sounds so crazy just to say.
It was amazing because they were
what
like,
do you do for a living? I play Mortal Kombat
professionally. And that was just absolutely wild because I was asking them just stories like, like how many people have you beaten? How long have you been playing the game? What's your favorite one? I didn't want to ask what's the biggest cash prize that you've won because I knew it would just make me mad.
Right.
Because I knew a lady that I used to work with whose son went and played at a local Super Smash Brothers tournament.
Right.
Came in third place and won $17,000.
What?
17 grand.
So you even get money even if you don't win first place?
Apparently so. It was a big tournament, I guess. But I was
we need to enter one of these, even if we don't do that great, as long as we.
But you got to think about how many people are entering in on this. Like old Lester that lives in his mom's basement and does nothing but play that game and doesn't have a job.
Right. I'm sure people that they probably do that for a living.
Right. And shout out to a place that we've talked about on this podcast multiple times, Lost Ark Video Games here in Greensboro.
Yes.
They just recently had, I think it was a Tekken tournament, one of the head-to-head fighter tournaments. They're a retro arcade and video game shop, but they had people who flew in from Japan that were professional players to get in there, and they did like a 40-person tournament, which if you've been to Lost Ark, imagine fitting 40 people back in the back arcade. There's no room back there.
They'd have to be like squished in like sausages, or some people would probably be out the door.
Right.
That's insane.
But apparently it went really well. So if you're in the area, please go check out Lost Ark Video Games. They're awesome people. Tell Daniel and Kinsey Gaming at a Glance sent you. They're awesome people, and I mean, if you're looking for model kits for Gundam figures or SNES, SNES games all the way up to PS4 games. Everything. They have everything. The Magic the Gathering cards and an arcade. It's absolutely amazing.
Anime porn.
Yeah, that there. I think there's some in there. I don't know. Yeah, in the glass case. I think
there's definitely some in there. Take my
Look
word
out.
for it.
No, he knows. He knows.
Been there, done that.
Speaking of anime porn, Nier Automata.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yeah, like I said, lots of panty shots.
Typical anime.
And she wears a skirt, which I don't know why a female soldier is going to wear a skirt. And I don't know why a soldier who's fighting guns is going to use a sword. But again, this is anime, so it
all makes sense.
Yeah, all logic is thrown out the window.
Right.
But yeah, you have this... you can actually get rid of her skirt.
Yeah, you can.
And then, just panty shots for days.
Boom. There it is.
Climb up ladders.
Speaking... Oh, hello.
Look at this guy.
There it is. Speaking of just the ridiculousness of why a female soldier would fight in a skirt, I was streaming Alan Wake's American Nightmare a few nights ago, which the game is complete garbage. Don't ever play it. It's awful. The first Alan Wake is incredible. This one's just horrendous. But a part of this game just brought me to this realization that I still can't make sense of. Because in this game, you walk into a garage, like in the first 5 minutes, and you meet a girl, hot blonde, working in a garage as a grease monkey.
Right.
And I just stopped and I asked myself, in what reality is that ever a thing? You see it in TV, in movies, and now it's in video games. I mean, one of the most famous, look at Final Fantasy 15.
Right. I was about to
Cindy.
say, they have the exact same thing.
And there's so many examples of that. And
I'm not
what?
going to lie. I wish it was a reality.
No, that'd be cool. I wouldn't be upset about going to Jiffy Lube to get my oil changed.
Right. Dude, I would get my oil changed all the time, even if I didn't need it.
Why else would they call it Jiffy Lube? You know?
Right?
I mean,
You're going to need
go.
some lube, that's for sure.
There it is. But... This is false reality, which I get video games are, but when it comes to realisticness, that
honestly,
needs to get out of here.
With the sexual thing, that's a big stigma in video games, like the over-sexualization of women.
Yeah.
In video games and anime. I don't necessarily agree with it to the extent that some people do. And even in superhero, people say, like, oh, the women are like, their proportions are ridiculous. But it's like, look at the guys. They're just as ridiculous.
Just as, like, I'm never going to look like Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher.
Exactly.
Or anybody. They're overly muscular. Like, how do you have an 8-pack?
Exactly.
Is that even possible? I thought it stops at 6.
And they're all super manly, and they're all like warriors that nobody is like this.
Dude shooting laser beams out of his eyes. I mean, in what reality is any of this going to be? I mean, if you play like a regular realistic game, then you normally don't have the huge boobs and crazy everything.
True.
It's
like Heavy Rain or something.
Right. It's
very
like basic.
Really realistic.
Exactly. Hyper realistic in some cases. But you also have to look back and realize that the people who are making these games are designing these characters based on their audience.
Right.
Based on the demographic of who's going to be playing these games.
And let's face it,
these guys,
a lot of these guys want to see some tits.
Right.
Come on.
I don't want to play a game and be looking at a pantsuit lady from, I don't know, some office somewhere.
Right.
Like, okay, a good example. Phyllis from The Office. That's going to be the main female character. Which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Phyllis could probably whip some ass pretty good. Bring out summon Bob Vance of Vance Refrigeration. But you get my point.
Right.
You want these characters to be completely abnormal in the best way possible.
And I mean, let's face it. I mean, that is kind of what sells.
Exactly. People are just looking for reasons to complain about stuff.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyways, Nier Automata, what would you... So I've never played it. How would you sell that to me?
Well...
other than the panty shots, I'm already sold on that. But.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I need to say right there.
True.
But no, I mean, everything about it is pretty good actually. The battle system is a lot of fun. The difficulty I don't think is too much to where, because sometimes some games can be really difficult in the beginning and you can kind of lose interest. This doesn't do that. You can control the difficulty. It keeps you interested. The story, really good. The graphics are really good. Yeah, the main thing with me was just the battle system. Just the whole hack and slash thing.
Right.
And all the cool weapon upgrades that you can get. That was the big thing that I liked.
Well, that was something that kind of turned me off to hack and slash games back in the day, was that they got kind of stale. You beat the level, you get a new weapon. You beat the next level, you get a health upgrade. You beat the level, you finish all these bosses, you get to the end of the game. I like the fact that hack and slashes are starting to adapt experience points so you can pick how you level your character.
And with like Devil May Cry, I mean, I think you only got like 3 or 4 weapons throughout the whole game. I mean, this has like
an arsenal,
like 40 or 50
which
just swords. I mean, it's insane. And you get, as one of your weapons, you get what is it, Noctis's engine blade from Final Fantasy 15.
Now
little
that's awesome.
Little Easter egg there
Heck
for you.
Yeah. That's sick, because I just watched John's little brother has been at my house all last
platinum
week.
It.
He got to 97% of the trophies in Final Fantasy 15.
Insane.
He's obsessed with that game, but
yeah,
it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Nier Automata, what would you give it? Like out of a A through F rating, A plus, B plus.
I would say A.
You give it an A.
Yeah, not A plus.
Right, solid A, which
Yeah.
that's a great rating. I mean, that means definitely go out and pick it up if you're a hack and slash style person.
Yeah.
And so the main protagonist of the game is female, right?
Yes.
I love that about games. I've actually gotten to the point, which I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but with my video games, if I have the option to make a character, I've gotten to the point more now where I'll make a female character. Just for some reason, I'd like to have a character that's a girl that can just whoop ass.
Right.
And I feel like they always have cooler moves anyways.
Right. And you always have the clothes options.
And the clothes options.
That are always nice.
Unless it's a game that I was going to talk about real quick. I've talked to you about this one, but I have to get it off my chest how amazing this game was. It's HellBlade, Senua's Sacrifice. Absolutely unbelievable game. It came out this year. It was more of like it wasn't a very hyped up game. It was pretty, low key. It was only $30 on release.
What system is it on?
PS4.
Okay.
They have it on PC now.
Right.
And it is just absolutely incredible. The main character is female.
Right.
But it's not a, overly exaggerated proportions female. She's just a badass.
And isn't this one where she's like dealing with inner
Depression,
demons?
yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
I remember.
All right. I was playing. I bought this game and I was trying it out, and I had a very close person to me. Rachel was here watching me play it, and she and I both got hooked into this game because what it really deals with is mental illness and mental disorders. Not just depression, but depression, anxiety, schizophrenia. All sorts of different things go into this game.
Which that's like a whole new level that I don't think any game has ever really explored.
Not so much. There's some that have touched on it, but not as in depth as this game was.
Right.
They play a movie at the end of the game once you finish it that goes into behind the scenes of how they made it, and they brought in real therapists.
Wow.
And they point out the different points in the storyline where different aspects of people's mental disorders showed up and how they depicted it and how they formed it. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. Rachel got so into this game, and she's not a very big gamer at all. This is like the first game she's gotten hooked on.
Right.
She went and watched every video diary on YouTube, and there's like 28 of them to explain how the game's made, all the different voice actors, the characters, the modeling, every step of making the game. Then she somehow got the main voice actor and model that they based the character off of. HellBlade was brought to us by Ninja Theory, the game company, and the actress, 3D animator, and the person Senua of the game is based around and modeled after is Melina. That's who Rachel became close friends with. She's awesome, has a awesome story about the game and how everything came together. So definitely support Ninja Theory and the whole team there. Thank you guys so much for making an amazing game like HellBlade, and we definitely can't wait for any more titles that you're going to release. I am now a definite fan, and hopefully the rest of our listeners will become as well. They're friends on Instagram now.
What?
They talk
heck?
to each other. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And then the game itself followed her on Instagram. It's like she's obsessed with this game, so we're going to do another episode just primarily focused on HellBlade, but I just wanted to touch on that one, seeing as it's another female protagonist who is just absolutely insane. But she's like a Scottish warrior, Celtic warrior, and it's just walking through. She's trying to get to a place called Helheim because she's trying to retrieve the soul of the man she's in love with. So she's carrying around his skull in a bag the whole time, and she'll stop and start talking to it. Like, she's really messed up in the head. But the one thing that really got me about this game was you have to play it with a headset that has surround sound to get the full effect,
because of the voices.
Right. When you put the headset on, you will hear all of the voices in her head, in your own head, in different parts of your hearing. And they'll be talking to her while you're playing the game, sometimes giving you hints, sometimes discouraging you. It's really just her own internal battle with herself. And it is absolutely incredible. $30 for the game. You cannot. It's not one you want to sleep on.
Totally worth it.
Now, the story and the game itself is actually pretty quick. I think it only took me about 6 hours to beat it, which I like. I like short games. I don't like. I get halfway through long games and I'm like, is it over yet? Come on. But
now, is this like an open world kind of thing, or? It's
not open world. It's really there's not a lot of action in it. Like, I mean, there is, but it's mainly based on the puzzles. So if I was to put this like anything, it's kind of Legend of Zelda-esque.
Okay.
Because you have 3 bosses that you fight. The first two are pretty easy, and then you have a final battle. But the puzzles that you have to solve in these weird environments throughout are just absolutely incredible. They're really difficult too, because some of the ones I actually got stuck on, and it took me a good while to complete the puzzle to be able to move on to the next place. But
you do have a sword or some kind of action.
There is definitely action, but like, you can't just pull out your sword and swing it randomly.
Okay.
It's after you get to a certain part of, like, it's a very linear game. You just follow the path. There's no wandering around.
Right.
And you'll find enemies, and there is a good bit of fighting, and the fighting is pretty tough. Okay. But it's very hack and slash based. Dodge at the right time, attack at the right time, move around kind of stuff.
That's what I like.
But it's amazing, and you do get a new sword, which is really cool, and you can do these crazy power moves, but it's very deep in a very intellectual level. And so anyone out there, I give HellBlade a complete 10 out of 10, which is very rare, but it's storyline, mechanics of the game, graphic quality, voice acting, everything about this game is flawless. And it's just because it came out of nowhere. I love it when a game comes out of nowhere.
I've never heard of it until you told me about it.
So I recommend that before anything else.
It's crazy, a game that wasn't even that like put out there. They put this much work into it. Well, with psychiatrists. That's like a new element to gaming that's like it's getting bigger and bigger. Make things more realistic, more relatable.
Right.
That it's just like it's just a whole new element that just makes games even better than they ever were.
Completely. And now that once you watch the movie at the end and then go back and do your research on the game, you'll realize that the game, it almost didn't happen. There's a lot of stuff that went into it that just shouldn't have been. Like their main voice, I believe the main model of the game and voice actor to play Senua quit. Or something happened. Rachel told me the story. I can't quite remember, but we'll go into detail whenever we do the episode. But she like quit, and then I believe it was one of the artists that was there, they threw her in to be the new model. So she was doing 3D design, character design, map layout, voice acting, and doing the actual modeling for the game. I hope
she got a good paycheck for all that.
The game did a lot better than they thought it would.
Well,
and that's the same person that Rachel's friends with on Instagram now.
Wow.
So I'm just like, dude, can we please get her on here to do an interview? I will die if I could interview Senua from HellBlade. That'd be unbelievable.
Well, hey, since it did so good, maybe HellBlade 2.
Yeah,
you never know.
I just want to find out more of what went into the game as far as just idea and concept of everything, because they didn't just get one therapist. They got like therapists, psychologists.
That's crazy.
Yes, it's so worth it. So anybody who's been thinking about that game, buy it. I'm promise you. Yes.
For sure.
As soon as possible. It's amazing. And the replay value is there. It's really easy to platinum because there's no collectibles. There's only one form of collectible, which is collecting these rune things, but it's amazing. So buy it. check it out. Support them. They're awesome. Follow the game. I can't remember the name of the company is off the top of my head. But check it out and support them all you can because they deserve it. They put a lot of work into it, and they deserve every bit of the credit for it. But anyways, John and I are sitting here, and we're recording this podcast episode off of I finally built my gaming PC.
Here it comes.
I finally did. I've wanted to for years and years and years and years, and we're recording off of this, and it's just incredible.
Looks gorgeous.
It is. I can't help but
His
get
computer
erect.
looks like Boba Fett.
Dude, we should paint it.
Absolutely.
I will totally do that.
Dude, go get some green.
Yeah,
That's
there
all
we
you
go.
need.
That's it. It's hard to get erect while not looking at I mean, yes, as a computer you can find things, but no, just the computer itself is just sexy. But I've been playing a lot of The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. I had it on PS4, beat it on PS4. I had to get it again, and I was on sale on Steam, so you can't beat that. And the one thing that I love most about PC gaming, I know I've talked about these guys before, but I love to reiterate because they're such a good team and they serve such a good purpose, is a website called humblebundle.com. And what Humble Bundle does is they reach out to game companies. They gather a group of games from that company that they're pretty much donating, and then Humble Bundle puts them up for dirt cheap in bundles. And so if you pay like $1, you'll get 4 games. If you pay over $5, you'll get 3 more games on top of the original 4. And if you pay like $15, you get 1 more extra big game to go along with it. But all of it goes to charity.
Wow.
A portion of it goes to the company, a portion of it goes to Humble Bundle, and then you can pick a charity if you're choosing for it to go to after that. But that's how I've been racking up on all my Steam games, is like they put the whole Borderlands series and a Van Helsing game and another dungeon crawler type game.
Now, do you get to choose what games you get in this bundle?
Well, no, if you pay for it, you get all of them.
Oh, okay.
And you can add them to your Steam library. I mean, I add them all. Just why not have a big library and collection just in case? But they have new bundles like every week.
Oh, okay.
So you can always pick and choose. But I got every Borderlands Game of the Year edition with all the DLCs for like $5.
Wow.
Which is just incredible. And that's how I've been racking up. And
I just like that name, Humble Bundle.
Humble Bundle. Not only do they do PC games, they also do some weeks where they'll do PS4 games and PS3 games. They also do software, so a group of computer software, and they also do ebooks, comic books.
Oh, wow.
So like $1 can get you like 20 issues of a specific comic.
All your nerd paraphernalia.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, and I love it. It's so anybody who's interested in that is PC gaming or just wants to start checking it regularly, they do have other console codes up there from time to time. Like I think it was 2 weeks ago, they had all the Destroy All Humans games for PS4, the remasters for like dirt cheap.
Oh my god.
But
now, is there any advantage that you would say to having console? Oh, I know you like PC, but is there any advantage to having the console over PC?
I mean, yeah. I mean, with console, for local play, there's a lot more opportunity for, having your buddies over, grab an extra controller and play through something. But if you want to put the time into it, you can download all the drivers and softwares and stuff so you can do that off your PC too. So
wait, you could play with somebody on their PS4 on your PC?
Not yet. That has not been developed. Well, I think in some games it has cross-platforming like that, but I could take a PlayStation game, rig my PlayStation controllers to my PC, and play the game off my PC with multiple people.
Right, okay.
It's all about how you want to set it up, which is something that I do. I mean, the only other thing that I could really think of with the advantage of having consoles is when a console puts out a truly exclusive game.
Right.
Because some consoles have games that won't be on another console or on PC.
But with PC, I feel like PC's getting big. I feel like that's going to become rarer and rarer, that it's only console exclusive.
And it already is pretty rare as of now. I mean, like Halo. There's only the first Halo was available on PC, and now Halo Wars is available on PC. You can't really get any of the other Halos on PC. However, a bunch of dudes over in Russia went and remapped every single Halo game.
Oh my God.
Put it all online for free.
Wow.
So you can play every single Halo map online for free with everybody across the world.
Wow.
So that's kind of where PC just kind of whoops everybody else's ass, is because most PC gamers know how to build these kinds of things.
Right.
They built their own servers for people to be able to play off of. And you just sit here like, and I mean, it's in Russia. They don't give a shit about laws or anything.
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh man, I wonder how Microsoft feels about that or whatever. But it's like
what are they gonna do? Putin's got their back. He was like, what are you gonna do? But that's just what's really funny about everything is anything that you really want to do on a console, the PC can do it.
Yeah,
without
as long
even
as
trying.
you got the knowledge to do it. I mean,
and
it's there.
I put together this PC with zero background in knowing how computers work. It's not hard. It really isn't.
Wow.
As long as you follow the instructions. It's just the way my friend Chris put it to me. It's like Legos. Follow the instructions and you're going to be fine.
Right.
I was really nervous since this was my first PC build, but once I finished it, I was like, that really wasn't that bad. It's going to scare you because I've put probably close to $2,000 into this build.
Yeah, I was about to say the price tag might scare some people away.
Right, but it's not as expensive as it seems. First off,
now would you have to spend $2,000 to have a decent PC? What's like the minimum?
I know
think?
that Ryan got his gaming PC, which isn't like an amazing can run any game PC, but it runs what he wants to play, like Overwatch, Final Fantasy 14, and World of Warcraft, all very easily, and Diablo. And he went to Best Buy and got a pre-made and did payments. It was like $900. He paid like $50 a month.
Oh,
and just paid it off.
Okay.
And it works. It works really well. This PC, I picked out every part by hand.
Right.
And I started at $1,100. Started.
Okay, so we went significantly over the budget.
It's hard not to because you're sitting there looking at a graphics card like, well, the one I want's $300, and it can do what I want. But then there's a way better one for like $100 more.
You're talking to a guy who buys all kinds of power tools. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So by the end of it, it went from $1,100 to $2,000.
Right.
And I'm still not done adding stuff to it, but it's just absolutely perfect. And the main reason I'm so obsessed with my PC, other than the fact that it's a lifelong dream and I just built it, is because I've gotten the privilege of playing a game called PlayersUnkown Battlegrounds, and it is incredible. Joe, John's brother, while we were building this PC, he told me, as soon as you get this thing built, that's the first game you need to buy. Just try it. I promise you'll love it. He hadn't even played it. He just saw it, and he was like, this is going to be amazing. So I bought it, and I've been playing it. And for anyone who doesn't know what PlayersUnkown Battlegrounds is, it's really popular on like Reddit and all over the internet. But basically, the concept of the game, it's a big battle royale. It's kind of like what the Hunger Games should have been. So there's no instructions on how to play the game. You kind of just get in there and you jump into a server.
Oh, wow.
You have about 100 people per match. And all before the match starts, you see all 100 people out on this island just kind of running around while everyone gets together. And then they all board this airplane. It flies over this island that's completely abandoned. It's got abandoned buildings. It's got, abandoned structures. And you pick the point on when you want to skydive down to the island. Out of the plane, you parachute down. The goal is to be the first one to the ground to find guns because it's all randomized. You have to go and scavenge around for guns.
Now, you play with CPUs or other people?
No, it's all online. It's 100 actual players all playing together at the same time.
Gotcha.
So once you hit the ground, you're trying to find your stuff, but you're also trying to outlast all 100 players because everyone's hunting each other. Now, after you get to the ground, this map is huge, by the way. The island is just massive. I've never played on a map that's this big. It takes forever just to walk from one portion to the other. Like, I could see like 20 minutes, 30 minutes in real time just sprinting to get across the map.
And you have no instructions on how to do anything.
No. I mean, you can figure out the controls, but it doesn't tell you how to play the game because it's kind of all up to you. So you get to the ground, so you find a gun, say you find a car, which is super lucky, so you can get around. After you first get to the ground, there'll be this big white circle that appears over the map, which is the play area. You have like 4 minutes to get from where you are to inside that white circle because another circle is going to close in. It's a blue circle that restricts the play area. It'll close in, and if it closes in while you're outside of the white circle, your health starts to go down. So what that does is it pushes all the players into a more confined area, so no one's just hiding the whole time. So you're having to keep moving, you're having to keep fighting each other, and every few minutes it'll get smaller and smaller and smaller. So it starts at 100 players, and it gets down to the last one standing. I've come in third, and when I was in third, this white circle was so small it was like on just one building. Just one building with 3 people trying to hunt each other at the very last second of the game.
And, like, is it super hard to find guns and weapons?
It can be. Sometimes it's really about where you just choose to land. Some buildings will have guns in them and supplies and camouflage.
So you're dropped into, like, an urban environment.
Well, it's rural and urban. It's this big island. It has different cities on this island that are all abandoned.
Right.
So you can either land in a hot zone with a bunch of people. So say you drop down into a big city right out of the plane and you got like 12 other people who all decided to land in that same city.
Right.
Yes, you'll have a higher probability of finding guns or better gear and stuff, but you're also in the probability of someone else found one in the building across from you 2 minutes before you found it. They're going to be able to come over and blast you off the planet before you can even find anything, which has happened to me.
Is it first person or third?
It's both.
Oh, you can choose.
You can hit the V key and switch it from third person to first person. Now, one thing about the game is it's super unforgiving. So say you get down onto the island, you find some guns, and you get shot, and you're like 68th out of 100. You don't get to wait and respawn and come back into the game. When you die, you have to just back all the way out and get into another server and start the game over. You die once, you're done. There's no continuing, which is awesome.
How easy is it to die? Is it like one shot and you're done?
It depends on the power of the gun. It depends on the placement of the shot. It depends on the armor that you're wearing.
Wow, so it's like realistic.
It's extremely realistic. Like you can do zeroing distances on your sights to pick everything out like very precisely. I found a sniper rifle and I was trying to get a dude from one mountain to the other, and you can watch the bullet do the bullet drop and everything. It's just outrageously awesome. I love it. But it's the thing about the game that I love so much is that they put so much effort into the sound because there's no music. There's no background music in this game. As soon as you jump out of that plane, yeah, you're hearing the wind rush while you're skydiving, but as soon as you get to the ground, the only thing you're going to hear is footsteps, shots being fired in the distance, or vehicles approaching.
Wow.
And it was really funny because Rachel was sitting on the couch while I was playing that one night, and she saw me jump so bad because I was creeping around this corner. I had been alive for because these matches can go up to 45 minutes.
Oh
so I'd been creeping around for 20 minutes. I was there was 13 people left alive. I hadn't gotten a single kill. I just play to stay alive. I don't play to try to get a bunch of kills. But out of nowhere, I cut this corner, and a dude comes up behind me. I didn't hear a single footstep, and he blasts me in the back of the head with a 12 gauge. And I had my headset on, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and the volume was cranked because I want to be able to hear people's footsteps. And I jumped so bad that my headset flew off my head, and she laughed at me for a good 15 minutes because I put the game down. I was like, I can't do this right now. It's way too intense. That scared the shit out of me. I am done.
Oh, my God.
But it's an amazingly good game.
How long does it take until that white circle thing happens?
So right when you hit the ground, you got about 5 minutes before it starts closing in.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay.
And then from there, it'll take another about 3.5 minutes. After that, about 2 minutes. After that, about 1 minute because the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But it's super great. If anyone out there is on PC and hasn't tried it out, I highly recommend it. It's not the same thing as Call of Duty or Battlefield. It's a lot more strategy driven. Yes, there are a lot of really annoying assholes on the game because it's players unknown. You don't see anybody else's username.
Right.
It's all anonymous. Now,
do they have rocket launchers in this?
No.
So no
don't.
noobs.
Exactly.
Can come around rocket launchering everybody.
Right. Now, the sniper rifles are the thing to find because they're extremely hard to find, but if you can find one, you're golden. There's no way you're getting you're going to place high if you have one and know how to use it. But definitely check it out. It's awesome. It's about $30 on Steam right now. It's super fun. A lot of replay value. I can't stop playing it. But there's also a game that's out right now on PS4 and Xbox One that's free called Fortnite that a lot of people have been talking about. I personally haven't played it yet, but it is free to play, and apparently it plays just like PlayersUnkown Battlegrounds, or PuBG as a lot of people like to call it. But it plays very similar, a little bit more cartoony, but it's free to play, and a lot of people say it's better. So any console gamers out there that want to play a game like that, I highly recommend Fortnite. From what I've heard, it is just absolutely fantastic. John, I would recommend trying it out. It's free to play, so I mean, there's no reason not to try it. But I'm
looking to play HellBlade.
Yeah, I was going to say HellBlade.
You got me sold on that.
HellBlade is absolutely worth it.
Are games cheaper on PC?
They can be.
They can be.
Because
you keep saying $30, and I feel like if you go to get a PS4 game, you're probably going to pay more than $30.
Well, HellBlade on PS4 is $30. It came on release. It was $30. I don't think they were expecting it to do as well as it did. I paid $30 for it, and it's completely worth every single. I would have gladly paid $60 for this game. It was that great. But yeah, it's only $30. I definitely recommend that. As far as PC goes, Steam, they have a lot of sales. They do a lot of crazy, ridiculous sales every year and throughout the year. So I bought, what games did I buy? I bought like Peggle for $1.
Nice.
I bought
easily worth it.
I bought The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year edition with both of the $20 DLCs for $20 altogether, and the soundtrack included.
Wow.
And it was because I caught it on sale.
Right.
And the cool thing about Steam is you can go through and add all the games to your wish list that you want, and then it'll notify you as soon as they go on sale.
Shoot.
That's how I found that.
Wow.
So I've got Dead Rising 4 on my wish list. I want to rebuy HellBlade again for my PC just so I can see it with the better graphics.
Oh, yeah.
So I can play it again. I've got that on my wish list. I've got the South Park Fractured But Whole on my wish list. There's a lot of games that I have, and I'm just waiting on the notifications.
Is that the next one?
The new one after the Stick of Truth.
Yeah, Stick of Truth, that's what it was.
Which, Stick of Truth is an incredible game.
Yeah.
Like, I was very pleasantly surprised with how good it was.
That's what I've heard. I have not played it yet, but...
It plays just like a turn-based Final Fantasy RPG.
Ugh.
But the cool thing is in the game, they reference almost every South Park episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like everything I've ever wanted out of a game.
You make your own South Park character, and Cartman recruits you, and it's just one big Dungeons and Dragons live action game that they're playing.
Oh my god.
But it's so much fun. I have a copy if you want to borrow it. I got Joe hooked on it, and it's on PS3, so you have to break out the PS3.
I'm good. I got it.
It's worth it got me hooked. I beat the game in 4 days. I couldn't stop playing it. It was so funny. Wow. And I wasn't even a big South Park fan at the time. Now I am, but absolutely unreal.
Dude, how could you not love South Park?
Or if you want,
the greatest.
It really is. But if you want, the Fractured But Whole is an even bigger one. I got to be at the private panel for that at E3 last year and got to see some of the gameplay, and it looked amazing. And the reviews I'm seeing are just out of this world. So that's one I have on my wish list too. South Park games.
Yeah, it's a far cry from the South Park 64.
Yeah, God.
I don't know if you've ever played that, but
I haven't, but I've heard it was.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's 64, so obviously it's super shitty graphics, super shitty gameplay.
Right. But I have heard that have played myself and realized that the story to the game is fantastic. You can tell that the creators of South Park wrote it, but I feel like they just gave it to a game company and were like, you can do whatever you want with the mechanics of the game, just keep the story the way we have it, because the equipping systems are great, the ally systems are great, the mini-map, everything, or there's no mini-map, but the mapping system's great, and the combat system, it seriously is turn-based like Final Fantasy. So healing one round, healing your buddies, attacking, defending, all sorts of stuff. And you remember how, like, in Final Fantasy VIII, Squall, whenever you do his base attack, if you hit R2 at the right time, it'll trigger it and do, like, an explosion. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in the game. So you can go in for a power hit, and if you hit square whenever your blade, like, tings, you'll do, like, critical hit damage and stuff. And it's really funny because ultimate moves like kicking somebody in the balls or doing a really bad fart and throwing in somebody's face.
Oh my god.
It's really, really good. So anybody who hasn't played the Stick of Truth, it's not very expensive now. Well, it probably is because Fractured But Whole came out.
Oh, shit.
But it's still worth it. it's South Park. If you love South Park, you're gonna love the game. Even if you don't like turn-based, it's hilarious. Like one of the final stages you go to in the Stick of Truth is inside Mr. Slave's asshole. You have to fight your way through it. And there's guinea pigs up there and alien saucers. You go to the moon and meet the Moon Men at one point. Like you meet everybody. You can go into the sewers and do side quests for Mr. Hanky and Towley. And
so it's like an open world thing, just like Final.
It's an RPG.
Oh my god!
It is just an RPG. So if
who
you love
made
Final
it?
Fantasy,
Did Square make it?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I'll put it in I'll put all this information that I didn't know in the show notes. Okay. So check that out, guys. If I know I've been very, very prepared with game company names, but it'll all be in the show notes. John, we're running out of time. Do you have any final thoughts for our friends and viewing public?
Just stay safe out there. Keep playing.
Keep gaming.
That's all I got. Yeah.
Check out HellBlade. Check out PuBG if you're a PC gamer, or Fortnite if you're a console player, and check out Nier Automata if you haven't yet, because John gave it very high reviews.
Yes.
But thank you guys for listening. We'll have some more podcast episodes coming out. We're trying to get them out once a week. So check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under the tag Gaming at a Glance, to keep up whenever we put out new episodes. And for anyone who didn't know, my old co-host Scott did unfortunately pass away last month. So may he rest in peace, and appreciate everyone who's reached out on behalf of that. He will definitely be missed, but his sexy, buttery voice will forever be living here on Gaming at a Glance. So if you miss a Scott episode, go back and check the previous episodes. His hilarious bits of Oscar the Grouch being banged by Big Bird, that's the reason he's so grouchy, jokes that Scott had, which were just outrageous. They are in the previous episode, so go digging around for them and let the memory of Scott live on.
Yep.
But check us out on Twitch as well, under Gaming at a Glance, our YouTube channel. Give us a subscription. We will be posting everything on Twitch and YouTube, and as well as our social media. But thank you guys so much for checking us out, and we'll see you next week talking about some more video games.
Peace out.
Adios.